contact with the defendant either at or near the time of the offense, which is alleged to have been committed in this case. So it seems to me that a person can give testimony regarding whether or not, based on their contacts with them, whether they thought the defendant was sane at the time. They cannot give testimony unless qualified as an expert and a sufficient foundation is laid. They cannot give testimony regarding a diagnosis that may have rendered the defendant insane, but they can testify as to whether or not they saw certain things, whether she was, I think the prosecution has gone down the line of, did she refer to herself by a different name? Did she seem to know what was going on? In addition, with respect to, I think it was Van Nest was the name of the nurse yesterday. She's in a little bit different position. Number one, she was qualified to testify as an expert, true, not in as a psychologist or psychiatrist, but part of her job requires her to obtain consent from a patient in order to perform an examination. And before she can obtain that consent validly, as she testified, she has to make sure that the patient understands the procedure, understands what's going on, understands why she is requesting what it is that she's requesting, and that the patient has the present capacity to be able to understand all of that and make a decision regarding that. So I think her testimony regarding whether or not the defendant was sane was properly admitted. So with that, Mr. Tellini, did you want to make further records? Go ahead. And that the patient has the present capacity to be able to understand all of that and make a decision regarding that. So I think her testimony regarding whether or not the defendant was sane was properly admitted. So with that, Mr. Tellini, did you want to make further records? Go ahead. Okay.
And I understand there's Medina and there's, in my reading of Medina, there was kind of two issues that the court had with the officers, with the two basically law enforcement people testifying. One was, I understand the court saying the proximity and time when they're in contact with them. It also seemed that they were stressing that the contact was of somewhat of a limited duration. In it, I think one of them only had like an hour-long interview with them. Tally, and I understand Tally, it's unclear from the case how much contact the supervisor had with the defendant, whether this was, we've been supervising for years, we've been supervising for, a month. And so we don't necessarily have these things that we have to focus on the time. It's unclear. It's depending on how this case goes out. We'll have some direction from the Supreme Court on how to interpret Medina, even though it's a 50-year-old case. It doesn't seem that there's a lot of cases subsequent to it explaining what the actual foundation is. And so I think I made the record pretty clear. And again, I don't want, I'm not going to make a long record, and
that's fair.
For this attorney, when they're asking that question, I'm objecting to. I'm going to have that foundation. And I think that would make a sufficient difference, so they understand what the folks are going to have.
All right. Prosecution, do you have any other record to add?
Yes, briefly. Good morning, Your Honor. It's the people's position that we agree with the court on the analysis of the cases that you cited. However, the jury is also going to be instructed on what insanity is. They're also going to be instructed, at least in the packet that we provided, that a layperson can weigh an opinion about insanity. At the end of the day, all of this goes to the weight of the testimony, because they also going to be getting instruction on the credibility of all witnesses. And they can base the amount of time that the witnesses have spent with the defendant and weigh their credibility on that. So the instructions of law will cure any concerns that defense has.
Okay. All right. And that was a long way to start the morning. Sorry about that. Anything we need to bring up outside the presence of the jury at this point in time? Okay. Let's go ahead and bring the jury.
So the instructions of law will cure any concerns that defense has.
Okay. All right. And that was a long way to start the morning. Sorry about that. Anything we need to bring up outside the presence of the jury? Are you going to start with the video?
No, I'll start with some testimony first, obviously, yeah. And there's actually, will be 4 videos during her testimony. The long one will be her interview that she conducted on January 29th, I think it is. It's about a little over 4 hours.
We'll also need to find a breaking point this
Yeah.
morning.
Yep.
Okay. All rise for the jury, please. Fine, it's all good. I'm positive. I can see it's fine. Thank you. May all be seated. Court will recall 20 CR 1358, People versus Letecia STAUCH. Record should reflect the jury has returned to the courtroom. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Has anything occurred since we were last together that causes any of you to believe you could not continue to serve as a fair and impartial juror in this case? If so, please raise your hand. No response. All right. Yesterday, when we took our break, we were still in the midst of the prosecution's case in chief. That's where we will resume today. Mr. Allen, call your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. We would call Jessica Bethel. It's my understanding Mr. Cook is doing her cross. I don't know where Mr. Cook went.
Okay.
He's going to be right back. I will stay there.
We're good to go then? Okay. All right, Ms. Bethel, if you would raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony about giving this man will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Go ahead and have a seat in the witness stand. Please watch your step as you step into the stand.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
You may. Go ahead.
Good morning, ma'am. Will you please introduce yourself to our jury and then spell your first and last name for the record?
Good morning. My name is Jessica Bethel, Jessica Bethel.
Ms. Bethel, what do you do currently for work?
I'm currently a stay-at-home mom.
Okay. Did you at one point work for the El Paso County Sheriff's Office?
I did.
What was your last assignment with the El Paso County Sheriff's Office?
I was last assigned to the Investigations Division.
What kind of education and training allowed you to do that job?
I went through a post-academy to become a sworn peace officer for the state of Colorado. And from there, I received on-the-job training and advanced my career into the Investigations Division.
Are you still a post-certified peace officer in the state of Colorado?
Yes, I am.
How long were you in law enforcement previously?
Total, including my time served as a civilian, would be 14 years.
I want to specifically get us oriented to January 2020 timeframe. Were you working at the El Paso County Sheriff's Office at that time?
Yes, I was.
What was your specific job assignment then?
I was assigned to the Majors investigation team, which consisted of detectives that investigated homicides and robberies, assaults against people.
How many different homicide cases did you get involved with investigating, if you have a round figure?
Oh, boy. I would say more than 100.
At some point, did you become involved in the Gannon Stauch disappearance case?
Yes, I did.
What was your role in that case?
I was assigned as the lead detective.
What does the lead detective do?
The lead detective coordinates the investigation mainly on a typical case and receives the leads and the information that's being collected by the other detectives. And then from there, analyzes that information and disseminates further leads, eventually leading up to either an arrest of the person or, looking at potentially a different suspect.
You said in the typical case, was there something about this particular case that made it different from those, what you would classify as a typical homicide investigation?
Yes.
What was different about it just from the initial standpoint?
Initially, this case was receiving a lot of attention in social media, and the case quickly grew to a multi-agency case.
Do you remember off the top of your head how many different agencies got involved with this investigation?
I would say close to 10, if not more.
Did that include both state Colorado agencies like the El Paso County Sheriff's Office and other agencies, also federal agencies?
Yes.
Did it also include agencies in other states?
Yes, it did.
Would that include South Carolina and Florida?
Yes.
Because of the scope of this investigation, did that change the role of a lead investigator from the sheriff's office to some degree?
It did, yes.
In what way did that happen?
Because there was so much information coming in, I assumed more of an investigative role as opposed to sitting back and collecting all of the leads at once.
Would you classify the investigation as almost an all hands on deck effort?
Absolutely.
Speaking about just generally how the course of an investigation might go in a typical case, what are things that can influence the direction a case will develop into?
Things that can influence it, I would say whether or not we have witnesses available, whether or not there's video, whether or not the suspect is willing to do an interview with us. Those types of things can influence it.
What about the potential absence or existence of physical evidence?
Absolutely, that can influence it as well heavily.
You mentioned witnesses, willingness to give statements or lack of willingness to give statements. Can that also influence the course of an investigation?
Yes, it can.
What about misleading statements from witnesses? Can that have an influence on an investigation?
Yes, it can.
Those things that I just referenced, did some of those things occur in this case?
Yes, they did.
Did some of those things have a negative influence on the investigation?
Yes, they did.
Can you, in a general sense, tell us what some of those things might have been that caused a negative influence on the investigation?
This ultimately ended up being a homicide investigation, and we did not have a standard homicide scene where there would be, evidence of the homicide and a body. That was not present in this case. Also, the suspect providing alternate leads, multiple stories of what happened, also influenced how we proceeded with the case.
When you've got that sort of dynamic going where there's different stories being presented to the investigative team, do you have to sometimes chase those down to see if there's any validity to them?
We should always chase those down. Absolutely.
Okay, and why is that?
It's just as important whenever you're trying to prove that someone did something as to prove that they didn't do something. We need to act without bias. And so if they present something to us, we need to take that just as it's a credible piece of information and vet it before we determine that it's not a good lead.
When did you first become aware of this particular investigation? Do you remember?
January 28th.
So the day after Gannon was reported missing by a 911 call and a non-emergency call
That's correct.
by the defendant in this case?
Yes.
Because the initial call was for a missing or runaway child, did that cause a investigative impetus or momentum to try to find this child that potentially had run away?
Initially, patrol handled the case just as a missing or runaway child. But then later, when it was brought to our investigations, our attention, we realized that he was 11 years old. The weather, his medical conditions, it became more important to find him soon.
Were there lots of searches conducted in the area sort of surrounding the victim's home?
Yes, I was aware of many searches being done by neighbors, some coworkers of Albert's, and also law enforcement.
Did that include vast areas of field and even reservoirs and that kind of thing?
Yes.
Did any of those searches in the immediate area turn up any clues that would lead to any investigative leads that you could pursue?
No.
You said that you first learned of this case on January 28, 2020. Did you actually reach out to the person that ended up being the defendant in this case on that particular day.
Yes, I did.
Why did you make that effort?
I wanted to contact Letecia to speak with her more about Gannon's disappearance and to meet with her at preferably at her home so that I could look at his room to look for clues as to where he may have gone, if he had left anything behind, a note or any behavioral changes.
Were you able to talk to Letecia?
I was, yes.
How would you describe her demeanor on that phone call? Was she willing to talk to you?
I would say she was hesitant at best.
Do you remember how you described it in your reports?
I don't remember verbatim, no.
Okay. Do you remember if you described it as being apprehensive, that she was apprehensive to talk to you?
Yes,
Did you specifically ask her at that particular time if you could go to the house and talk to her about what had happened?
yes, I did.
Did she agree to allow you to come to the house?
No, she did not.
Did she give a reason?
Yes, she told me that there were several young children in the home, and she didn't want them overhearing what we were talking about.
What did you do then as far as trying to get her to sit down with you and give some sort of a statement to you?
I offered to meet her at a place of her choice. She ultimately asked that I meet her at Starbucks located on Fountain Mesa.
Prior to this particular phone call, had you ever met Letecia STAUCH?
No,
Had you ever talked to her on the phone?
no,
Did you, in fact, then meet up with her at the Starbucks on Fountain Mesa?
I did.
Who was present for that interaction?
Letecia was present, Albert was present, my partner, Detective Mark Riley, was present, myself, and Jason Hess, Sergeant Jason Hess, also was present during part of it.
Okay. Did you actually do this contact with her and Mr. STAUCH inside the Starbucks business?
Yes,
So was there a recording made of this particular interaction?
yes, there was.
Can you hear sort of the normal chatter that you would hear in a Starbucks on the recording of this?
Yes, you can.
May I approach with People's Exhibit 335?
You may.
Ms. Bethel, do you recognize People's Exhibit 335?
Yes, I do.
How do you recognize it?
It is a disc containing a field interview with Mr. Stout and Letecia.
Is this the recording of what we were just talking about, your interaction with them at Starbucks on Fountain Mesa on January 28, 2020?
It is.
Have you had a chance to listen to that recording?
I did.
Is it a fair and accurate representation of that interview?
Yes.
Now, at this time, I'd move for admission of People's 335 and request permission to publish.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, Exhibit 335 will be admitted. Go ahead.
And before we publish it, the person that you had contact with that identified as Letecia STAUCH, did that person have the same voice as the person you talked to on the phone just a little bit prior to this actual meeting?
Yes, she did.
Do you see that same person in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
Will you please identify her for the jury, pointing out where she is sitting and what she's wearing?
She's sitting at the defendant's table. She has a pink shirt on.
With her head resting on her hand?
Yes.
I would ask that the record reflect she has identified the defendant.
The record will so reflect. Go ahead.
And then permission to publish People's 335, and it is 55 minutes and 54 seconds, Your Honor.
And is this audio only?
Yes, this is audio only.
All right, go ahead.
I wasn't sure like what you were gonna be in. Yeah. So, do you guys just want to stand out here or do you want to go in the? We can go in. Okay. I'm Detective Bethel, by the way. This is my partner, Detective Riley. Sorry, I'm just a little. And I felt that. I guarantee you, I'm gonna get halfway down there and I'm supposed to. So.
So we were just notified about what's going on again, and so I just want to start from the beginning, to make sure that I have accurate information. So your name, ma'am?
It's TECIA. And same last name, Stouch. AUCH.
Your date of birth?
8483.
Give me the address, because I don't think that street name's right.
It's just Mandan, MANDAN.
How long have you guys lived there?
A little over a year.
And your name, sir?
First name's Eugene. Last
Your date of birth?
name 82.
All right. Where do you work, ma'am?
The beginning.
Which school?
I don't know. I don't like if I think it's it for the other college.
And you, sir?
I'm in Ashland. Full time.
So tell me a little bit about Gannon. How old is he? He's 11?
Switch, I'll put out. That's, come our attention, and that's not true.
Right. That's what I was told too.
So we were like, everything we've been basing our mindset on, based on that.
But someone actually takes.
Yeah, technically last night he texted me. I was in Oklahoma at Fort Sill for training. And I had to come home emergency. But he texted me last night. He's like, yeah, we saw him on the camera, came in, did not look distressed. Bought some chips, left on foot. I mean, I can show you the text if you want to see it. But
When did you go to Fort Sill?
when? Yeah, I left Sunday. I've been there 1 day.
What school does Gannon attend?
Grand Mountain.
Grand Mountain?
Yeah, it's in our neighborhood.
I was gonna say, I think that's a new one that opened up down there. Tell me about his friends.
Most of his friends are right there, like right around our house. Like he has boys that live right at the end of the street. He plays with them most of the time. Braden is his name.
What's Braden's last name?
I mean, I got all his parents' phone numbers and we talk to him all the time. But
If I could get their number too.
yeah,
So we have Braden. I don't.
Braden, so they're like two families that live in the same house, but they're like related. So
Well, Connor, I know, but Connor goes to Webster.
there's a Connor, but he goes to Webster obviously, like because they rezoned him because of the new school or whatever. So he went there last year.
Connor's mom has been with us the past day or two.
She works at
Yeah,
Webster.
she works at Webster.
So this is one of them. That's,
Ian,
so like I said, I think it's two brothers and their families live in the same house. And they got like 3 or 4 kids.
But that's associated to Braden.
I think that's Braden's uncle. I got Braden's mom in there too. But you can get to him through this guy. This is him.
When was the last time that Gannon went to school?
It would have been last week.
yeah, so Gannon went to school on Friday.
Friday, yeah.
When does he return home from school?
I'm like 3:15-ish.
Yeah, 3:05 to 3:15,
Yeah.
they changed the new time of the school. Like it used to be like 3:30 to 3:45. Because of like snow days over there.
So Braden and Connor, are those the only two friends?
I mean,
I don't even know if he parents.
I'm looking.
He wants to meet them all on top of them, so he has all their numbers. I don't even, like, I know them from coming to our house. Like, I don't have it like them.
There's one more. This so Lily is my daughter's friend, but she has a brother that's Gannon's age as well. and they kind of live like right behind us.
What is the brother's name?
Reese.
Reese.
I do know that because
Yeah,
I hear Lane say it all the time.
So they live on the next street over. And sometimes they'll ride their bikes over there, but they mainly play with these boys, these Braden. And then right next door to them is a group of girls that my daughter plays with.
Okay.
I just know their mom.
Campbell.
Canberra is the mom, and that's her number right there. 801.
Oh, yeah.
CAMBRA, I think.
So that's a mom of,
My daughter's friends. There's like 3 girls.
Well, one of them is the age of Gannon.
Yeah, I mean, these kids are like they range from like first grade to like they're 6.
so these are neighbors.
Yeah, basically they live 2 or 3 houses down, but they live next door to one of those 2.
Okay.
And that's about it. That's all they really play with. Now he's got some other friends at school, but he doesn't never really goes to their house and stuff like that. The point of concern was this right here. This is where the concern started. Let's see the text message he sent me. Okay, so this was he stayed at home yesterday because his stomach was hurting.
So we got hiking on Sunday.
Okay, so yeah,
I would tell her that part.
Yeah,
She sees about the stump. And we went to Garden of Gods and we get probably about, I don't know, a few miles out, a few feet in. He's like, oh, my stomach hurts. I'm like, yeah, it's probably because you haven't been, like exercising on everything. He's had this problem for a while because he gets like really bad constipation. And so his stomach was hurting all through the night. And you were either on the plane,
yeah, something. I was
something,
on the way
we were
up.
like texting back and forth. And I was like, should I just stay at home? Because there was like blood and stuff coming out of his blood a little bit. And so I was like, I didn't want him to go to school like that, scared because of like multiple underwear.
Okay.
So that,
And he gets really down and embarrassed about
so,
that too.
yeah, so he gets embarrassed. He's very like emotional about that type of thing because he's sad about it. So he stayed at home. Well, we went and got the dogs, some new outfits. We got 2 new puppies. So we went and got a dog some new outfits at the Petco. I think it's on Coles, Nevada exit maybe. I don't know the numbers, but I know it's Nevada and the Coles right there. And so we went to Nevada, the Coles. He sat in the car because he wasn't feeling well, but I wanted to make sure he was gonna eat and I gave him some Pedialyte and stuff like that. I think that's about it. Petco came back, whatever. So when we came back, he was texting you. That's where you wanted.
Yeah, so he had spilled a candle in the house, whatever. He was because he felt like he was smelling bad because of his accident. He lit a candle and was playing. He spilled the candle, so he got really upset because he made a mess with that too. So
They burned a big.
So then this is where he starts texting me. I'm in Oklahoma. So he told me my tummy hurts, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just trying to stay positive, So he's worried about, Tisha said he was really worried about getting in trouble not for the accident, but for the candle thing. So then right here, I was like, we'll talk later. And he's like, do we have bath salts? And I'm like, immediately, I know what that's all about. So I'm like, what what's going on? Where did he even hear this from? So I immediately texted her. I was like, we have a little bit for baths and stuff. So I was like, put all the stuff we use for our baths and put it away somewhere so he can't access it until we find out what's going on. And then I asked him for what.
So let's look at that.
Yeah.
So with that, the day before, when he tells me this, I said, he came in and asked me, did we have any the day before, which was Sunday. And I gave him a bath bomb because I really didn't know bath salt. I didn't know. So I gave him a bath bomb and went to the bath. I still was clueless to the bath salts until we looked it up.
So then he tells me this. My friend said if I got some, we could play this weekend. And I told him no, absolutely not. But we were still talking at this point. And then he was like, he went on a little bit. Then he's like, his brother has a car for a sleepover if I can come over Friday. That's kind of the end of it, though. We need some more haze. So that's where we get the idea that he may have left. Well, no, he told her he was going to play. So,
Which he does.
which they do all the time. They walk out and they're like, where you going? Be back at such and such time. And they're always, maybe he's 10 minutes late, but nothing like this. So I don't even know who this friend is. That's the biggest concern on the surface. That's why, like she said, I always like to walk over there and meet, hey, this is blah, blah, blah.
We don't know
Phone
anyone
numbers.
with a car.
Yeah. Yeah, with nobody finding that has
Yeah.
an older sibling that drives, none of his friends that we're aware of. So we, from these other people, we got some names of other kids on the bus that he plays with. And so we kind of hunted them down last night. We heard what they did while I was on the way back. Found one kid named Jimmy, but he wasn't, they hadn't seen him. And then they were like, well, this kid has an older brother or whatever. And they went to their house and they're like, no, we haven't seen him. So that's when it really
He
was
gave
alarming.
us information that Jimmy had an older sibling. So of course, we all went,
I
you
mean,
know.
we think it was
Around.
putting people together. You know.
So then Jimmy's dad answers the door and they show the picture to Jimmy. Connor's mom, was the one with my daughter. She's a 17-year-old. So he's like, yeah, I think I know that kid. And then they were like, do you know Jimmy? And the guy was like, yeah, that's my son. And then he was like, I'm sorry to tell you guys, but we don't have a older child that drives. I don't know if she said Jimmy was the oldest, but whatever it was, Dad said there was no older boy that was in their home that drove. But it was like he said, pieces were coming in from different kids trying to give us information and names.
See, the big deal here is it's not like, and I know kids, you know, get influences, but he's a homebody. I mean, I'm like the same way. He would rather be at home playing his little Nintendo or, you know, watching cartoons. You know, sometimes I gotta make him go ride his bike, that kind of thing. So he's not one just to walk off. And, you know, he's had times where he's been a little embarrassed about his stomach problem, but never anything to drive him to something like that. So that's why, I mean, I had to come to grips with, I'm pretty convinced that something bad. We kind of, between ourselves, kind of broke it down to, we either feel like he's at a house where some of this drug stuff is going on. They convince, you know, that they convince.
Has anybody called the school yet?
Yeah.
So the principal called this morning.
I back up. I emailed the teacher first. And I'm like, can you give us any information? I knew she couldn't, but I wanted to start that dialogue. I said, can you give us any information about Anna's friends or anything? She's like, no, but I could go to the administration. So, principal, somebody reached out last night. Her principal said he waited up the front just to make sure he didn't come to school today, side or whatever. And an announcement is that, hey, if you have information, we're going to help Gannon. And,
They also just sent an email on the do not reply. The district email just came to us where the principal said he's sending out all families.
okay, so yeah, so they're doing their due diligence.
So I just came to us with that.
What kind of social media accounts does he have?
I don't even let him get online with these things. I have.
Does he have a phone? Obviously, he has a phone
Yeah,
that
it's
he's
in the
texting.
truck, but like, we check through that. I check the phone logs on my TT account, and we hadn't texted anybody other than the one friend.
So we have the capability to do a download on the phone and potentially see things that are deleted that you and I wouldn't see immediately. It would be like in cache data or whatever. Would you be willing to let us look at his phone,
Yeah.
do that download, see, just to make sure that he didn't delete something that, that we need to look at? Okay, so it's an iPhone?
Yes. You want to grab that?
We need to, need to take it with you.
Yeah, that would be great if we could.
I know we'll get to that, but I brought this because some of my buddies at work were like, you can track, Nintendo has a way to protect if the device is hooked to the internet somewhere.
Okay.
So maybe he's somewhere and play this game on their Wi-Fi or something.
That, is the Nintendo Switch missing?
Yeah, he had it with him. So like he was going to play games. That's what obviously he was going to play games with his buddy or something.
What's the serial number on that?
That's going to be right there if I'm not mistaken. Everything should be in here. I think that's it.
So does he, other than the stomach issues, does he have any other ailments, disabilities?
He just he takes ADHD medicine, but That's never really caused him a problem other than, I mean, he makes straight A's. He actually got his first B this past time, so.
That's his phone there.
Yeah, that's his. 292 was the best one.
2922.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, let me give you this phone number. And I don't know if you have to subpoena the information or not, but so my friend looked this up and found, it said that, police can subpoena connection location for the switch, and that's the phone. And that just, he found something on the internet that said that, so it's at least worth looking into, I think.
Yeah, we've got a database of stuff that we work with, so
Yeah.
we'll be able to find a contact
Okay.
if that service exists with them. Any,
Show you, can I show you something? in
Yeah.
here? I mean, I know you'll find it out, but I was just not sure about the history.
Oh, yeah, he had looked up only one, something that was.
Oh, that's, okay, where's the history?
are there any other children in the home?
Oh, it's. I'm sorry.
You mentioned a 17-year-old. So, and biologically both of yours?
No, so I have Gannon and my 8-year-old daughter. And their mom was on the way now, so she's gonna be here tonight. But,
What is sister's name?
Lena, Laina.
What's her date of birth?
12212.
And you have custody of both of them?
I do.
What is
Well,
mom's name?
technically shared, but they live with me and go to our senior summer. So we call it shared, but I really have this. Mom's name is Landon, Landeen.
Do you know her last name?
Hyatt, Hiott.
Date of birth?
411?
4/11/85. And we have one other child in the home as well, her biological daughter.
Okay, what is mom's phone number?
Phone number?
Yep. And you said it's your biological daughter?
Harley. H-U-N-T, no, Harley.
Oh, Harley.
Yes, sir.
What's Harley's date of birth?
51010.
You mentioned younger children in the home.
Well, mainly I was meeting Lena because here's what happened. One of the people called this morning and she was sleeping and heard a lot of conversations and she's been like just crying and things like that. So, yeah, and she already has like, I don't know, preconditioner with anxiety, but she gets very,
It's worked up.
yeah, worked up easily. So she's having a hard time because like the National Guard came earlier, so many people have been coming, so it's a lot.
So like you said, I guess the search history had been deleted, but like that one right there, Monday afternoon. I don't know, I don't see a time on that, so I don't know when that happened, but I'm sure that can be found, but it says, can my parent find my cell phone if it's off? So I don't know if he intended to take the phone.
What is this? Where does FGTV live?
So this FGTV, some little kids show that they watch, or the kids watch, and they got
Like famous YouTubers.
it's like a YouTube thing that's going on. So but he left the phone.
Is he talking to any girls?
No, actually, I joked with him about that, but
He had a puberty class and he was like,
Yeah.
ooh, I don't want to do like, and
yeah, they just had a little puberty class in school, so he's still in the ooh phase. Yeah, go ahead.
now if you see the messages that say to mommy in the last day, that's me talking to his mom. Because I don't give her my.
To see if you get any searchable stuff on the maps. So he searched for 10315 declaration. I've got you guys.
Declaration is probably somewhere, probably somewhere.
It's old.
Yeah, it's probably,
Old Glory.
yeah, it's probably something that we were, it could have been things that people.
What date was that?
10315 declaration drive.
When was that? So,
It says Classic Homes, Wilson Ranch.
Yeah, I mean, that's our neighborhood.
Right.
Declaration.
I didn't look for any demonstration.
Bethany was on Kearsarge, so.
Yeah.
Kearsarge or whatever. But we were driving around over there and somebody said that they saw a camera
That was the.
on the old Rory.
Address on there.
Wow, I didn't think about looking at that. But this kind of doesn't make any sense because he went the other direction.
Three. I feel like that's someone's address.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the people. Is it recently? Because like,
So this is how it was, when I pulled up his map. I don't have his. Address of that listed, that address. So when I click on it, I don't.
if you just put horse and ranch, so is that the random address for that office? Different address of declaration.
up top.
Bring up this map to see, look for hours. I'll send the car down to that. We'll figure out what that is. It's good look. I know it's right there, goes off to the south. They're gonna drive by their house.
But it's kind of farther towards the school than our house, toward that backside.
Yeah.
We're up right at the front. That first section.
What model iPhone is that?
That's like a 6. Yeah.
Search.
Zillow.
They're over here.
So this here is, it's a computer translator, but we're gonna use cell phone. So basically, what the cell phone waivers would say, is that we're gonna dump this phone with your permission. You have the constitutional right not to have it searched without having a warrant. I think that at this point, in time, it would be good to start it.
Yes.
But everything that's on that, to include all deleted items, everything, it just makes a copy of everything. And then we'll get it back to you and we'll analyze the copy that we take from it. Again, it's, you're providing consent. I can't force you into doing it. And I would have to obtain a search warrant, if you didn't consent.
28.
I believe so, yep.
28.
So we'll keep the phone and start searching through that. Where might he go other than, does he have any other relatives in the area?
No,
No relatives in the area.
it's just us and those few friends. Yeah, I don't know. I don't recognize it.
We're listening to the car over there.
Okay.
Figure out why it's in the car. Did you ask about the bath salt and the address?
Yeah, so we don't know just the friend. We don't know who the friend is
I can show you all it said.
in that text.
He said to me was bath salts, like, do we have any?
You wanted to take him to a friend's house?
Yeah, and let me pull it up so I don't get it wrong. Huh?
I was trying to think like this. For you.
Oh, thank you.
And I got another water coming for you guys.
Thank you so much.
I think this is.
So you can just read through it. It starts, I was in Oklahoma, it starts right there, so you can just scroll down. So to get this details we did with him, he's been having some stomach problems, so that's when he talks about his tummy. He had made a little accident, dropped a candle, so he's upset about that, but then you can read the part about the bath salts. And in context with that, at the same time, as soon as you say bath salts, I got on the phone with her and was like, hey, because we do have some to take, legit take baths with and stuff.
Yeah.
That's like, get it all, hide it, put it away,
And I told him that
figure out what's going on.
you did ask me the day before,
Yeah.
and I gave him, because I didn't.
So like, see, it's very vague. There's no like friend's name or where they live or anything, because the intent was to have that conversation face to face or whatever.
I'm sorry, when did you say you went to Fort Phil?
I left Sunday morning. Well, actually, I went Sunday night because my mom flew out Saturday night. My flight was Sunday morning, and then of course, got there Sunday. Had one day of class, and then this all happened Monday night. So, which was yesterday. I came back and
What time did you guys go to Petco?
I don't know, I probably looked through what time we set the alarm.
Okay.
that was Sunday, right?
No, Sunday was, we went hiking Sunday.
Didn't go to Petco Sunday.
No, we went,
Petco Monday.
yeah, because it was just me again and again on the car because the stomach.
Okay.
Because Lena went with us hiking, but Lena was with us. What's that date? So.
Tell you what,
What I-
yesterday was 27. So we're at that address. You said you're sending a car to the house?
The only thing I can think of though, if that was the person that we took the jingle basket to,
How would you use this phone?
Anna was with me.
Okay.
So if it ends up being the person with like the neighborhoods do the jingle basket, that's the only thing, because it was somebody in Wilson Ranch. So you go like with people, but that would have been December. So I don't know what they got. I don't know if that's their address. I'm just saying that.
Any clothes missing?
Except for-
I mean, like I said, like literally from what she explained, everything was consistent with, I'm going to play with my friends. So it was like, whatever clothes he had on, we make him put his play shoes on. We got nice shoes and play shoes. He had his play shoes on. So, I mean, it was pretty obvious that his intent was like, I'm not leaving, but I'm going to play. And I'm, doing everything I'm supposed to do. And she let him take his switch. I mean, don't really ever do that, so. It's in.
When was the last time he talked to his mom, his biological mother?
For Sunday? He had been talking he talks to her, right? They talk almost, I'd say 5 times a week. I know he talked to her Friday and Saturday because my mom was here and, he was on the phone with her, so.
Sorry, there's just a lot of 27 numbers.
That bio mom's coming in from.
Yeah, she's on the way now. I think she just got on a plane, South Carolina. Yeah, that's where we're all originally from, South Carolina, but I'm right here for the military, so. I mean, not to add any confusion to it, but like, the mom's married to a guy that's got a lot of trouble with the law. That was one of my first instincts when it was like, when the come and go thing came up and they said that he walked in all nonchalant, like everything was normal. It was like the dude was here or something, because he's got a lot of trouble like that in his background. So I was like, it came to my mind. It's worth putting down, but I mean, I don't know if it's anything legit.
Does she have your address?
Yeah, she does.
I know it says I disarmed the panel at Monday, January 27th at 2:29. So that's when we would have, and I set the back door to close. Because I would have like let the dogs out back in. So that's when you got home? Came home. I'm still scrolling up. I just didn't want to have to go to the back. And then, let's see, it says basement motion. I might have didn't set, I had to set the alarm. It's not showing when I set the alarm, but it says, living room and basement motion at 10:10 a.m. Oh, here it is, armed by master right here. So Monday, January 27th, I armed the alarm at 10:05 a.m.
10:05, you guys went?
That's what time I armed it, so I'm assuming, yeah, because we had motion that morning because we were there,
Which alarm do you use?
ADT.
What did you participate in? Bingo?
But they do these little basket things where like, they would like a group on Facebook or wherever, of like 10 women and 10 families, just you set a dollar amount. It's like, okay, you bring a basket of stuff to their house.
Okay.
So it's like a Secret Santa, I don't know, something like that, but for the neighborhood.
I could either look on the lady who sends it. You want to see if that's the address she said?
It doesn't matter, we're gonna send a card
Okay.
anyway.
Okay.
So we'll make contact,
Okay.
verify.
Okay.
It's weird to hear without that address on.
Yeah.
Does that, I mean, if that's like recent, or I know we
I
have.
don't have a way to see when it was searched, I can just see what the address is, the only address on there.
Right, right.
Has he ever left before?
Oh, I tell you, I mean, I know every parent says this, but he's a pretty straight up kid. And, if ever he does wrong, like the only thing he ever sneaks is, playing his games if he's grounded or something. That's it. I mean, other than that, he does his chores. I mean, he makes straight A's, kind-hearted. I mean, he fusses with his sister, but.
And to add to that, I know you're okay with saying that the counselor has said every.
Yes.
Yeah.
So because of, so his mom and the situation with her husband, like she basically has lost everything. Doesn't have a place to live, gone through a lot, on drugs and stuff. So I got custody of them. It's been pretty hard, for any kid. And, I went through some of that as a kid. So I was like, let's get them counseling just to be, certain there's nothing that they're dealing with and they know it's okay to talk. So they go like once a month on base. And, I always ask at the end of the session, hey, is there anything alarming that you brought up or anything I need to know about? And
Yeah, she always says that.
for him, it's nothing, that he's just open and, he's going through normal emotions of, loving mom and loving dad and stuff like that, but nothing like, hey, you need to.
Does he go on Carson?
Yes.
And what's his counselor's name?
Dr. Burtek, I have her number.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Looking through this phone and listening to you, it's exactly like looking through a 12-year-old's phone and talking to him. I mean, exactly. He communicates over a couple of game chats. He plays a game once, he play a computer game.
This is it right here. And I refuse, unless he's done it behind my back. I know he gets on YouTube and watches some stuff, but I have absolutely said no online gaming. So unless he's got on there and figured it out, then
So not necessarily communicating through the game. We have apps and stuff. If you can talk back and forth with your
maybe
lobby game and stuff, and he likes to use those instead of text messaging. And you for different apps. I was looking to see if I recognize any of the ones. Our son did before.
yeah.
So I don't recognize any of them on there from what he uses.
Yeah, and usually, once again, he's pretty innocent by telling us, or at least hinting at things. And he's never even like said, oh, I learned this from this. How he learns is he researches like YouTube and stuff.
I can see the way he was talking to you in our text messages about being in trouble if he still plays
Right.
and stuff like
But
that.
I did block him from the Wi-Fi because he was using TikTok. He had up something about some choking game.
Yes, I noticed and, paying attention to, what the news and all that, I banned them from TikTok and said remove it from all your devices because of the bad. I'm sure there's good stuff, but that stuff that encourages those challenges or whatever
Yeah.
going
When
on.
was that?
Within the past week.
Yeah, I took him off, but like he was on the Xfinity Squad or.
Yeah,
And shut it
Yeah.
myself.
yeah, he did
So
that.
I did that because I look over and it was some people were choking and quarters. And I don't know what it was like. I guess to get high,
This is counseling.
like you choke yourself or something. And so he was laughing, but I think he saw it as just people being silly. I don't think he was realizing like
How serious?
how serious that was. So I told him a story of which was a true story. He was playing a quarter game and it went down his throat and he had to be rushed to the hospital, blah, 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 blah. And so then he kind of looked at me like, like it was serious. So I didn't think anything else about it. Didn't think he was going to do anything like that. I just thought he thought it was funny.
To see, the kid is so like tenderhearted, like I know the kids are obviously influenced, we know that, but he would never like smoking or anything like that because his mom's done got into that stuff since we split up, and stepdad as well, and then and his grandma, his mom's mom smokes real bad, and so he knows that that causes bad stuff.
But then the thing was in his book bag.
What was in his book bag?
So she found after the bath
Harley
salts,
found it.
after the bath salts, I said go check his book bag just in case. Initially, she found nothing, but then after he disappeared, they went back and.
No, I didn't let her go look at it initially.
Oh, I thought you looked.
No, you asked me to go look at it, but I was doing
Okay.
other things.
So
I
they
sent
found
Harley-
a 2-pack of those little Swisher sweets.
Yeah, I sent
So-
Harley to go look at it.
I don't know. Somebody had to give him those
When did you find those?
last night.
Yeah, so I sent Harley to go do it. So Harley was like pulling out the book bag stuff, and she's like, "Oh, I didn't see anything." And then she had a folder in her hand and dropped that folder, so she immediately text out. But it didn't look like anything was used.
His best friend leaving, that was.
There's kids that name was
Braden and Connor.
Connor not as much because
Have we been to their house?
I don't know. Did they talk to the police last night?
Connor's mom did.
Connor's mom was there. But I was texting the other parents because they were out in the neighborhood looking.
Was Brady's parents one of them?
Yeah, out in the neighborhood looking around. Yes.
Yeah.
We've talked to Brady's parents.
I'm not sure if y'all talked to Braden.
I know I know they talked to Braden's mom, but she was at a.
Okay. All right. There you go.
I don't know that you talked to Connor's mom, but I do know she was there at the time everyone was there.
What is the Rubicon Drive address?
Rubicon Drive, actually.
So Lily and,
So
like the friends that live on that address? Okay.
9865 Rubicon Drive.
I don't know the number, but the Lily and Reese I spoke about earlier, they live on Rubicon, which I think is the street right behind us. Is that Rubicon?
Yeah, Rubicon's behind us, but I don't know anybody. I thought Gap Home was behind us.
Okay, hold on. Let me look at it.
What is it again?
9865 Rubicon Drive.
No, what is this? Something. We
That was
gave
the
you?
usual hangout, yeah.
Oh, okay. Who gave you this?
It was listed in the report. You guys gave it to.
Yeah, I didn't give anybody no.
So there was information that you wanted to go to a party with the bath salts. That was to slip over. Is that right?
No, he said I want to go to a friend's house. They said bring bath salts and my older brother were around.
Yeah.
That's piecing it all together, but in his terms, that's.
Yeah, but I didn't hear the same thing
But,
anybody about you.
so this Rubicon, so we live on Mandan right here. That Rubicon would be those boys, that Braden's family right here. I'm sure that's,
Okay, so that's Brady's house.
I would assume that because they don't know anybody else in Rubicon.
Yeah, I wouldn't have given
And
you.
Lily and Reese,
Because I don't even know.
well, I don't know, Rubicon goes around here, so unless he was going somewhere right there, I don't know, but the boys do live there, Rubicon. Lily and Reese live on Capitol.
So we also have a deputy back over at the Cummingville.
Okay.
So we asked them to send us the videos. They can't do it in the store. They have to do it in the corporate office. It's a wireless system or whatever, if you're cloud, I can send it to the deputies. We're going back over to review that.
Linda Reese. Or Reese Linda.
Oh, at that Declaration House? I mean, to know if there's any kids there, we'd have to go through the school probably.
That's what they're doing now. They're going down to see if anybody home. They had any kids. It's on tape.
Okay.
And then why he would have searched that address, et cetera, and start from there. So
Okay.
they're headed down there to do that now. The deputy over, they're gonna look and focus you over there. Did you talk to Deputy Donatello yesterday?
Would this been late last night?
No, it would have been probably before 4 p.m.
I'm trying to, the only deputy I spoke with that I remember, one called me because we were getting overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I don't know who I spoke with. They were at the house though, right?
There's a lot.
I think they were at the house and then, Donahue,
Donatello, yeah.
Sean Donahue.
Now, Chris Donatello,
This is El Paso County? Yes. Deputy Sean Donahue, I think is the one I talked to because
The recording.
okay.
he said he would text me the case number. And then he said that we got come and go footage. So I texted him back. Yeah, I mean, you can read through it.
So the deputy that went for the comment show, the clerk said, oh yeah, he was giving it. The deputy reviewed the video, and he does not need it.
Who doesn't lie?
I got all the police off here
The one viewed today or last night?
last night. He's going back again today
Let's see, Donahue said basically that it said there was nothing out of the ordinary. He didn't seem under duress. He left on foot. He only purchased a bag of chips. And I continued to ask him questions about,
First of all, I think that came from the clerk. And the clerk said, yeah, it's no. But the deputy ran the new video. The kid is back in the video buying the chips.
yeah,
He doesn't think it's your son.
okay.
But he's over there back now. And we can go there and look at it, but we can't get a copy of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to have the hero.
I mean, I was over there when, I don't know who was over there at like 11:30. There was another deputy over there around.
That would not have been the guys over there.
Yeah, so we were driving around, I saw a squad car or whatever there, I pulled in and I said, hey, can I look at the footage? He said, I don't have permission for that. But he said, I've looked over an hour and a half. I don't see description of your son or something that's close to it.
What kind of iCloud sign in? Sorry.
Let's text real quick, and it's in my note. I think it's the kid's stop, isn't it?
I'll need a username and
Yeah,
password.
I got it in my phone.
Do you see anything in our report? Video? I saw a screenshot on the phone of a kid on a sidewalk or something like that. You guys, camera?
Somebody sent that.
So there's been like 100 videos, photos that I went through. And I know that a couple of them were what appears to be him because it's the same outfit, the same, looks like him, there were people scrolling on them. So we had like 400 comments to go through
So
that
that should be the iCloud
we sent.
username and password for his phone.
Wasn't really when we wrote them back.
Then,
Or whatever, so yeah.
yeah, you can write all that. And that's the Gmail username and password attached.
So yeah, we,
Do you care if I just take a picture of that?
Yeah, how about I screenshot it and send it to you? How about that?
That's
felt
cool.
like it was on Gaplin. One of them I sent to my cousin, I just don't remember where this one.
Weird that you got there. That's
Gaplin's behind us.
always a cap.
Oh, yeah, no, Gaplin.
That's
Okay.
way up in the city.
Message. All right, what's your number?
719
Okay.
208
Okay.
1406.
So, do my software.
And I just left that's my daughter's iCloud too. Not that it'll matter, but just in case, I just left that one on there for you.
You're pretty sure that's right?
Yeah, okay. But I mean,
So where was this one taken at what time?
I need to look back. If you've got this, thought of the same thing there.
Can I give you a number? I can send a picture to you. I'm gonna send it to the guy that's overlooking that video. 719.
So.
No.
Within
5657. And that one was somewhere over by your house?
Yeah, what video here, we didn't.
You could be over at the common door.
Oh, I didn't. Safeway, I was like, I don't really make costume for this house like that.
So I did see he has a whole bunch of emails for Safeway.
Well, this is why, this is why. So we'll all be in there, they only let you do the just for you, keep on clipping. So everybody in the house with phones have to get it, so she.
Scam the system.
Well, our son gets random emails from.
You'll notice pink stickers on Wednesday.
My email box.
Yeah,
That's your point.
that's why it's.
Select all really.
That's all, that's. And then I'll get in there and be like, what number am I putting in and try them all.
Has anybody searched the guy's house yet?
Yeah, so that was the first thing they did was, it was about 6 people, showed up. And because we waited about 4 hours. And the first thing they do, they come in, they just were like, hey, we need to get your ID. Maybe you have to run in like, I guess like search thing and stuff like that. And then they said, well, typically, or sometimes kids can like hide, and someone told me something about kids could be in the dryer and not realize that they could breathe, like different places. So the guy went through every room and all the officers and everybody else like stood this way. And he did like flashlights and checked all the spots to make sure he wasn't like hiding, because at this point, it had already been so long, he doesn't ever come in to hide. He might do like a play, like jump out behind that thing, but not like anything specific. Yeah, so he went in like all of our closets, we like moved stuff, everybody was silent. Then we looked at the alarm to see like if there was any motion that might have been in any direction that we, like we didn't know. And so I didn't do it, he did it. We spent a while doing that, going over certain things. Like they walked me around, they were like, does he always leave this here? The clothes that were laid out, because we laid it, when he goes out of town and it's just me there, I try to lay out all the clothes, and I do it for him too if I'm somewhere, so they can just get up and find their clothes. So they were like, all these clothes are laid out. And I was like, yeah, it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because he's got like 2 beds. So he used to see other beds, just like to lay out all his stuff. So they walk through, just asking simple questions. Would you normally do this? Would you normally do that?
Working on the Nintendo right now. Does he have a gamer ID on that Switch?
Yeah, you don't remember the did it come through on his phone?
Can I see this phone? It might be.
Absolutely. Yeah, he had one, and then when he got the new system, we just created a different password for it.
When he goes to play, I know you had said that you have to like basically kick him out the door to go ride his bike in that, but when he does play outside, where does he go?
Goes to Braden's house.
Well, you don't have to kick him outside if he's not on his medicine. If he's not on his medicine, he's hyper, he'll go to. But if he's on his medicine, it's more like till it wears off, it's 5 minutes or ADHD. So until it wears off, it might be like, I don't want to play, like, it's zombie mode at first. So when it wears off, like if it's the weekend and we give it to him because we have to go to church, he would not go outside on a Sunday because it's still in the system at church. But he didn't take it because he didn't take it Saturday. He didn't take it because we went hiking. We did a 6-mile hike. He didn't take it Sunday. I'm sorry, that was Sunday. He didn't take it Saturday, he didn't take it Sunday, and he didn't take it Monday, which caused stomach problems. So he was off his medicine. I don't even think we ever go.
They said that the manager of the store says knows the kid. He comes in cooking with the dad. So that's not us, right? Which we constantly commonly have. Sometimes see something go, oh yeah, that's the kid I see. So they said that the kids in their team, they're saying it's him, but they know him. He comes in all the time with you.
Do like put.
So you guys like we don't show back on, bro. Definitely not enough for a clerk to know. Yeah. No, I don't.
All this says is this. I don't know if that's.
We go get gas over here.
That's always there. Purchase sometimes.
And the Gmail account associated.
I think.
Should be the.
I don't think he was lasting.
Sounds like
So I don't need to be lasting. The guy that Brister reported me there saw him, that not work. He's saying, yeah, I know. I'm like, this guy comes in all the time. Obviously, that's not your guy.
Right, yeah, no, I don't think I might have been one
The
time.
deputy was looking, the deputy did not think it was him. He's going back to look to see if this chick that he sees in the store that he buys the chip with, gets back into the car. I don't think that's gonna be. I don't think he made it up. It could be wrong, but it does not look like that to me based on.
Did you get what you needed?
Yes.
ID thing?
I
Okay.
have a lieutenant and a deputy going down to that, right now, but we're going down and talk to them. Talking to a couple of deputies, so we're on foot this morning,
Okay.
checking the golf course.
Yeah, because we saw him put the light on and we thought like there was people out there, but they were doing like another call. So he like kind of chased them down.
No, it was actually for you.
Oh.
They didn't know what they were gonna find and whatnot.
Yeah.
They didn't want to get people all riled up. They were checking on it. There was some noise coming from their shed. I think it was at the horse area.
Oh.
So they went in and started.
Okay.
You see what the business pushed down.
Right.
He was not it. But I want you to know, that wasn't him looking, but it was looking for. Following evidence.
Because they were just like, we were going to talk to somebody and we both drove off and was like, we both drove, make sure it's not the car. We both drove off and like, we're going into the woods to talk to people. Because we thought like,
Yeah.
okay, whatever, and drove on.
So they were going into that, I mean, because there's an abandoned shed or something back there. That they went in there, and fenced in, which technically you can tell people going there and messing around. They were going there looking for.
Okay, thank you. I mean, like, I'm glad they weren't like saying that, because soon it would have been like,
They just didn't want to,
right, right.
yeah, you got a tip, you might be over here. And,
Yeah,
You know, 30
exactly.
people are running toward the shed.
Exactly.
You guys can work with. I would like to talk to, I'd like to talk to your students out there, you know what I mean? They might know where this party is supposed to be.
What color is Braden's house?
But I want to talk to their parents, I want to talk.
I don't handle anything. I don't even know. I think it's like 10. I don't even, I've never even spoken to their parents. So now,
Would your husband know?
yeah, I think it's like 10.
Yes,
I mean, I've drove by it. I just don't.
Eugene,
They need to.
Oh, yeah.
what color is Braden's house?
I told her I didn't know.
Is it on your street?
So come in our neighborhood, our house is like third from the end, something like that. T intersection, dead end right here. There's Canberra, where I referenced, and then Braden. Basically, you go straight to their house from the intersection.
So this is,
This is us. That's Mandan, Rubicon, right? Rubicon.
Find out about that declaration house. If nobody's there, we'll start doing a back search.
Braden and then Canberra.
And go from there.
We'll be out there.
All right.
you said,
Canberra, which she's in there somewhere. And
where's
this is-
Connor at?
Connor, they live over,
Like Academy or something.
somewhere, yeah, way over up Academy. It's just his mom teaches at that Webster school or works there, so that he goes to that.
They just,
Connor's mom's number.
did you give her that?
No, we got sidetracked
She
on
just actually,
15 other things.
Yeah.
sorry.
I don't
So
have a
Braden is
street.
on Rubicon.
Goes by Canyon.
Go back in.
Canyon, yeah.
Connor's mom.
Yeah.
You guys let me know when you need, I'll let you down that section. Okay, we'll do. Well, we're doing everything we can for you right now.
Thank you.
So hit you guys up, we got your number. Make sure you're charged, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. That'll work.
And so this is school. It's down here, Grand Mountain. Just to the reference. And what is it? What is it? Fontaine? Fontaine was the main drag coming in.
Right.
Mark Shuffle.
Yep. I do know that part.
We're the first term when you come in. So anyways.
Okay, perfect. So what I think we're gonna do is we're gonna, do you have a card on you? I left mine in the car. We're gonna head down to talk to see if we can get a hold of Braden. See what time.
That's right. Time made, right?
Well,
I'm not sure.
might be at school. We may, and he goes to Grand Mountain.
Yeah, they all, the whole neighborhood does now.
Except on it.
Okay,
Well, Connor's, because he's way over
Yeah.
here somewhere. I'll just have him about to sit. Braden does.
we're gonna try and talk to Braden. We're gonna get a dump on the phone. Sergeant Hess, the guy that was sitting here, he's also working on things in the area too with other patrols. He's sort of like the lead for in the field. We're gonna see what information we can gather from there. And I will inform you guys as soon as I can what we find. If something comes up, no matter how minute, please call us, okay? That 208 number that you texted, that's my direct stuff. So, and I think I called you from it, so you should have it in your phone. So, yeah, hit me up, let me know what's going on. If I don't answer immediately, send me a text too,
Okay.
okay? All right, guys.
That's a good place for a break. Ladies and gentlemen, we will take our morning break. If I can have everyone back in the jury room at, say, 10:40, we should be able to start on time at that point. All rise for the jury, please. Thank you. You may all be seated. Record should reflect the jury has left the courtroom. Ms. Bethel, I want to apologize to you. I didn't realize that the video was, or the audio was going to be that long. I would have offered you a seat in the gallery as we have other witnesses, because that witness chair is not the most comfortable to be sitting there for 55 minutes and 12 seconds listening to something. So next time, we'll do a better job about that. So what are we doing next?
Just continuing with her. There will be another video here shortly that is much shorter. Let's see. 3 minutes and 43 seconds will be coming up here in just a little bit. And then we'll get into the really long one, which is 4 hours and 19 minutes.
Okay. So we'll probably get about a little less than half of that done before lunch.
Hopefully, yeah.
Just find a good breaking point for that, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right, court will be in recess. Ms. Bethel, you can go ahead and step down. Thank you, ma'am.